Okay, so this is a letter by one Mark Boyer of YouTube channel In Creation We Trust, and I just want to read this out loud into a YouTube video just to perhaps, I'm not sure yet, but let's read this real quick. Information on warehouse receipts. This short essay outlines the nature of warehouse receipts that created instant cash for bankrupt nations after World War II. In Canada, this Ponzi scheme started with the 1947 Vital Statistics Act and became heavily altered with Dirty Maggie's reign. Back in the 1950s, a warehouse receipt created $1 million in instant cash when you were first handed over to this paper queen in the form of a birth certificate. All caps, right? By your mother, who signed this fraudulent dotted line document called a statement of birth, and in doing so, your mother converted you into being goods after you're not bad at all, because this charitable act, your birth certificate, converted you into a negotiable Schedule II warehouse receipt. This created $1 million of collateral that was pooled together, and this enabled the building of public bridges, hospitals, institutions. Warehouse receipts, defined as, are receipts given by the owners of warehouses, etc., acknowledging the possession of chattel property, stored or kept for the owners of such chattel property. The ownership of the property may be changed on purchase by the endorsement and delivery of the warehouse receipt. These receipts are used largely as collateral security. They are given to bankers and others along with their notes as security for further advances of money. With your statement of birth, your mother converted you into chattel back to the value of money in order to generate money needed for the economy to recover after the war. Like, this is all basic, just reiteration, I think, of statements of contentious fact. I would not say that I support them, but I would definitely say that they're discussable. That's for sure. I'm not going to say I disagree with any of that. That's for sure. Whoever I am, because I'm not a name in all capital letters. That's all I know. The creation of warehouse receipts funded the rebuilding of the infrastructure of every country bankrupted by World War II. The creation of your warehouse receipt created in the 1950s, that was called the baby boom, which created the economic boom because banksters created out of thin air $1 million for every certificate. That's cool. This is an older guy, and he knows about this stuff. He's been around for a while. And gave it to the bar treasury. Incidentally, babies today are worth over 8.5, and from the onset it's understood that all the money is created, for example, to the bank issuing a 20-year mortgage for a hospital, or contributing the greater good by issuing a 40-year initiatives that built public projects like cities, blah blah blah, and 40-year bonds. The entire concept, notion behind warehouse receipts is all about macroeconomics. The banksters prepaid the total output of every person in the nation, and this money is secured in the nation's real estate value, fixed assets, and healthy gross national product. The fact is that these agencies, institutions that filled these buildings, created an income that paid for the real operating costs of their enterprise, actually paid this debt with our real labor-backed money. By we, the warehouse receipts, in other words, it all floated. In Canada, there were no defaults on any government or institution mortgages or bond issued. In fact, every one of these bonds paid back the principal and interest accrued on time. That's not the case with default governments who simply could not justify where the money went. There was no tangible fixed asset to justify advanced further funds. Frankly, the real payback for everyone, especially the banksters, is with the positive gross national product. Back in the 50s, the notion of warehouse receipts were promoted and accepted as a win-win for everyone because of the positive spin created by media. But that's not what happened. So far, the mortgage bond that was backed by your warehouse receipts really was money created out of thin air, and whoever took the mortgage bond, this is because there's a signature. You were forked over. Mom and dad did some delivering of information. Got the loan because they held a comprehensive plan on how to pay back this mortgage bond. In other words, it promised to pay for itself once the infrastructure was built. But the money paid back was not created out of nothing. That's right. This money was all real labor-backed money. It's understood that banksters get the keep the lion's share, namely the interest on the mortgage bond. But the $1 million principal of that mortgage bond actually belongs to we, the cargo, stored on the ship. If mom and dad can actually refute the claim. I don't know if we're allowed to refute the claim on the name. I don't know. There's so many theories out there. I've listened to lots of stuff and not saying I'm an expert in any way, but it's definitely admiralty law everywhere in Canada with the exception of Quebec. In Quebec, it's civil. Maybe it's civil admiralty. I have no idea. Where did this money go? In terms of baby boomer born in the 50s, our warehouse receipt back 3 20-year mortgages. That means there's $3 million in principal that actually belongs to a real human. I'm not a real human, that's for sure. I'm sure you're gonna. I hope Mark, you get to listen to this. Anyway, a real human. It's a human. We're not colors, and I'm not a woman, and a woman is not what I am. So we're not all in the same boat. And it's not because I need to say that or anything like that. It's just a fact. From a macroeconomic perspective, this money belongs in a pool. This pool comprises of the 20 million citizens handed over in the 1947, no doubt, and 20 million Canadians, probably more deeper than this even. Born in the 50s, 40 million, every 20 years or 120 back in a bank account for us. And this is only the money principal we owed to those who are now retiring. All the little pictures from this stuff. And here's the end. The 10 million babies born in the 60s and 70s are all warehouse receipts worth on average $3 million each. Not to mention they fractionally reserve all that, I'm sure. I don't know about these numbers and everything else. I'd like to see it all backed up. I love questions and comments and all the rest and the ratings and subscriptions. And they have 2 mortgages worth of principal owing or $6 trillion of real money in a bank account for us. That means in Canada alone there's easily $50 trillion of real money that has been taken out of the system, probably digital at the moment. In the USA there are 10x the population, therefore that much. In Europe has another, so therefore there's easily a few quadrillion dollars of real money that needs to be spent in a magnanimous act. I like this theory that Mark presents here, okay, that it needs to be done in only that way. It has to be only done in that way, in that name, in the name of magnanimous. Not magnanimous itself, like the guy. I don't know if there's anybody named that. Or any YouTube channels, maybe. That's a good name. Maxnanimous. In the spirit of warehouse receipts, we inherit the earth. This is where he's going to get, whatever. By using this money to better society for our children, and there is simply no better way to invest this money than to redeem all debt in the world. Sounds good. By cashing in our warehouse receipts, money created from hosts created by promises, we can pay off all debt in Canada in a charitable act. One, you can pay off what? All the world and all that other stuff. Where is it? Where does the world begin and end? And where is Canada begin and end? And where does the USA pays off all its debt? Europe pays all its debt off, etc. And we trigger our golden age. Sorry, I'm just speechless. In this way, we, the cargo, become free, like costs nothing, men, and on the land, and the law of the land returns for everyone, and that really would change everything. Now, wrap your head around this. No wonder the government is broke. In one generation, our warehouse receipts are collectively a quadrillion dollar white elephant that's draining the economy if it's not put back into circulation. We who created all this money, as if by design, are in a system where no one could spend any of this principal because it's in safekeeping, aka Catch-22, and all the changes. We, the cargo with the funds, get wise and decide that we, the cargo on the ship, want to go back on land. Archibald Cox called it consent of the governed its most powerful force devised by man. Consent of the governed, it is the most powerful force devised by man to effect the makeover without the use of military or economic force. Short of the millennium, sharp changes in the law will occur, partially through civil disobedience. Past generations have made a mess of things, our generation as well as our fathers. Take the best and discard the rest. when being given a chance to just take it all. Until these bankers are, end quote, until these banksters are challenged, they can say yes, there. Yes, it's there to do just that. Or no, we are robbed of that money long ago. See, I think all this money's been used up for war. So I don't think we can actually grab it. I do understand the fractional reserve part of it. Perhaps it might be very beneficial to take credit for the debt as opposed to authorizing asking for more credit via saying you're the debtor or accepting that Canada as a corporation with all these registered voters is actually the debtor. So everybody who voted is the debtor. Everybody who registered for vote, actually. So, registration for vote is like getting a driver's license. It's just a record, right? And they can use that in the same way that the warehouse receipts that we're talking about here, right? What we're robbed of that